Good evening. I'm Shelley, and I'm putting together a video series on how to do Norwegian Rosemaling, specifically Rogaland style. Now, Rosemaling is a it's folk art from Norway. Uh, it's been around for a few hundred years, and as it spread through the country, each different region kind of developed their own style. The three that I'm most familiar with are Rogaland, Telemark, and Hallingdal. Now, if you look back here on this screen, this one is a Rogaland style as this one is, but this one over here is Telemark. You can see that the Telemark is a little bit brighter colors. The Rogaland is a little more subdued colors. One of the other things that distinguishes Rogaland from, say, Telemark is that Rogaland is very symmetrical. You can fold it in half and the sides will match. You can do it up and down or side to side, or sometimes it's all the same. But that's what sets Rogaland apart from the other ones. Now, this is the book I'm going to be using as we go through the series, or the videos. This is from Vaithodi, Rosemaling Instructions for Rogaland Style. Now, this book has been out of print for decades, but you can still sometimes find it online. That's how I found this book. But I consider this the Bible of Rogaland style Rosemaling. So as we go through the series, I will be copying pages that you might need that will help you out with the class. But it is from this book from Vaithodi. There's a few things I'm going to show you now. On one of the previous videos, I did go through the majority of the supplies you're going to be using. Now, this is the supply list, and it looks, as I said in the other video rather daunting. But you don't need to buy all of these. The most important ones for beginner Rosemaling is this little one down in the right-hand lower corner. That's the one that's going to have the supplies that you need. But we'll also be going through those supplies as we go through the class. Now, one of the things you're going to want to get familiar with is the colors. Now, here's a list of the letter abbreviations for each of the colors. So if you're looking at a pattern and you want to use the same colors that they're using, you can find out what it is from this. And I'll show you an example. So this little leaf, you can see that it's got all of these numbers and letters around it showing you what color goes where. So we're going to be learning how to mix paints. Now, actually, the first one that you're going to learn is a little more complex than the other ones. Most of the colors that we will use, you have 3 different colors that you will use on a leaf, not a leaf, a flower, for example, a flower petal. There'll be 3 different colors. The dark, medium, and light. So there's a contrast between them. Now with the leaf colors, there's 4. There's 2 that are considered green colors and 2 that are considered leaf yellow. And so we will go over those. Let me get this out of the way. Now, one of the first and most important things is your paintbrushes. And I did go through this in a previous video. but they're the most important things. And you want to get a decent paintbrush. Sometimes they can be really expensive, so I did buy several from, you know, Walmart and one of the dollar stores. But the ones like this one that are made out of sable, there's also another one that I think it's called hog's hair or something like that. You know, but they're a little spendy. So, you know, especially just beginning, you don't need to spend that much money on them. So the one that you're going to be using the most is the flat brush or chisel blender. There's a few different names for it. So it's a flat style. You use this for shading. This one you want to get size 4 and 6 are going to be the most important ones. But you also might have one that's in a small area that you need to make a flower, something that's really small. You can also use the 2. But, you know, get a couple of the 4s and the 6s. Then we have the round brush that we do the teardrops with. And then we have the liner that you do all of the delicate work with. Now, some of the other things that, I just put these back in here, I don't want them in there. But, you want to season your brushes when you first get them. They have a, you know, a chemical whatever on them when they make them to keep them looking nice. So you just take some paint thinner. I use the mineral spirits. This is one that I just got in the hardware section. It's odorless mineral spirits, but mineral spirits are the best ones. You can go online, and some of the craft stores might have the tangerine scented mineral oil. It might be a little more expensive. That one was fairly inexpensive, so that's what I got. So like I said, you clean the brush with the paint thinner, and then if you get new brushes, you know, some people like to soak them in this happens to be baby oil. The preferred one is lard oil, but I've had a tough time finding lard oil. So one of the alternatives is baby oil, and people get the new brushes and they'll actually soak it in the oil, for a few minutes, but you don't necessarily need to do it. Then you wipe the most of it off, but you want to leave that on it. And then that's how they're stored. So you put it back in. This is my little paintbrush cup. It's just a ceramic cup that's filled with rice. The rice helps keep the brushes away from each other so the colors don't mix. So that's how you start out the brush. You want to season it. But when you start painting, when you're actually getting ready to paint, you're going to want to get that baby oil off again. And so you go back into the paint thinner. So I'm going to make sure with all of my brushes that we're out of the paint thinner. Now there's a few things that we're going to be using right away in the class. In addition to your paintbrush, you're going to want a palette knife. Now you can get palette paper in craft stores. They come in like a tablet. But this is a thing for protecting your counters, like when you're making cookies and stuff. That's fine. Or freezer paper. Freezer paper is a little heavier than this one, but you want one that's got the shiny side to it. And then you're going to want, this is a sanding block, really fine. We do that when we're painting our projects. So like this one, I put a couple coats on it, but I've sanded over it so you can see that it's, down a little bit. I'll do one more coat of paint on this one. It's nice and soft because I've done the sanding. But for now, we're just going to use, these are just kind kind of like index cards. And so you just paint on them, and then we will draw our, what we're doing. This one is for the leaves. So if you haven't done that, I mean, if you want to pause the video and make some of these, that's fine. I use the acrylic paints from wherever. It's just a paint, you know, and that's what I use for painting backgrounds. So you want, you know, a couple of these, because we're going to be doing two different styles of the leaves. So one, as you can see, it just has, it's fairly simple. Oops. Like this, and you just draw the outline, and then this one has got 3 little bumps on it. So we're going to be learning the specific strokes that you will be using to paint the leaves tonight. I want to show you a little bit of how to mix the paints. Oh, and this is when you you'll get copies of these that you can use, or use, and then you just trace the basic outline, and then you're gonna use transfer paper. This one's a red one, shiny side down. It'll depend which color you use per the background, because some show up better on the background. Like I found that the yellow they have, that one doesn't show up very well on this background. But you can get packets with several colors in it. Now this paper I've got down here also, but I think we're going to just get into a little bit of the mixing. Now the first set of colors that we're going to mix are for the leaves, and there's 2 colors. There's a dark, a medium. Those are are considered the leaf green ones, and then there's 2 yellow ones that are considered leaf yellow. There's also a flower yellow, but that's a totally different one. It's the leaf yellow is specifically for doing leaves, as well as the leaf green. So I've got my little palette here, and I am going to take burnt sienna and phthalo green. Now it's about one third of the phthalo green to the a full thing of the burnt sienna. So you put the burnt sienna out, and then you'll put about 1/3 of that amount by the side. But what you want to do is you want to mix the phthalo green into the burnt sienna a little bit at a time, because the phthalo green is a really powerful color. So I'm going to put my burnt sienna here. Now, since we're just practicing, I'm not making a lot, but when you actually start making plates, you're going to want to mix in bigger amounts so that you don't run out and have to make more paints for your projects, because it's tough to get them matched exactly. So we're just doing a little bit for tonight. All right, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the phthalo green off to the side. Let me move this camera down so you can see what I'm doing. I forgot to do that. Whoops. Tighten it up the right way, shall. Okay. So I've got just, the burnt sienna. Now, I don't know if you want to wear gloves, but you see what happens to my hands when I'm painting. If you get like Gojo at the hardware store, that's really good for taking off the paint. You don't want to keep sticking your fingers in the paint thinner. You know, you might get some Dawn dish soap that'll take a lot of that off, but be prepared to be very colorful. So I'm going to put a little bit of phthalo green off here to the side. Now we want to just add phthalo green just until the burnt sienna has a green tint to it. So I'm going to take a little bit of the phthalo green and I'm going to mix it. Boy, that got green very fast. I think I might use just a little bit more of the phthalo green. Okay, now the middle color of the leaf green is a little bit of the dark color in yellow ochre. So here's my yellow ochre, and you, again, just like the phthalo green with this, and this is with any of the paints that you're mixing. If you use the dark color to make the middle color or light color, you want to start out with the lighter color and add the dark color, because if you start with a dark color and it's not dark enough or light enough, excuse me, you keep adding more of the light one to get the color you want, and you end up with so much of the color. So I am going to put my yellow ochre over here. And then I'm going to just add, I'm going to get most of that off. You want this just to turn a little bit brown. I'm not sure I like this color of the yellow ochre. Let's see if I can get a little bit more from over here without. See, now I've got a lot of the I just see something. Okay, well, we're going to call this good right here for the middle color. Okay, and the leaf yellow, where's my cat? All right, so the leaf yellow is yellow ochre and cadmium yellow medium. Okay, and that's in equal parts. Oops. Uh-oh. That wasn't good. Let me get this out of here. Move that over here. Try and get some of that oil out of there. All right. It's not being nice to me. All right. So I'm going to leave those two greens there. That's one of the things. These are... All right. But I'm going to get another piece of this, and I'm going to do my two yellow ones over here. I might end up moving all of them onto one once I'm already done. All right, so okay, so we're going to do the yellow ochre. And the cadmium yellow medium. Oops. Uh-oh. That was a mistake. Always have paper towel handy. There was one class that my mom and I taught, and there was a lady named Edith that took the class, and she wore coveralls all the way down, because she would have paint everywhere. So it was kind of funny to watch her come in her coveralls, but she needed it. All right, so we're gonna make all right, so this is the first yellow color. This is considered medium or yellow. And then now I only got a couple of small tubes of titanium white, but titanium white is going to be the color that you use the most. You use this in almost everything that you make. Not quite all, but almost everything. Okay, so I'm going to put some titanium white out here, and this is another one where you want to add, this is what's on the palette brush is probably too much for making the light leaf yellow. So I'm going to clean that off. And then I just want a little bit, and when we say a little bit, you do a little bit at a time, because this is going to be a very pale yellow. This is for the line work, and you don't want a lot of color. It's just going to be a pale yellow. Okay, so you see how much that changed with the amount of the titanium that we put in, and then just a little bit of this, and you can see that just that little dot on the back of my palette gave you the light yellow color. All right, so let me get this cleaned up, and I'm going to get another. Okay. Now I have some colors. I'm going to do this one. I'm just going to leave these as I had them. So I want my... Now the one thing, you always want to have your paintbrush loaded with the medium color that you're using. And when you're, I don't know if you can see that enough. Let me put this over here. I'm going to actually turn this around. Turn this around. Okay. So when you're painting the leaves, I'm going to show you this. This is one of the things when you're doing a class in person, it's easier to see what the instructor is doing, but hopefully this will work. So I'm going to take this middle green color here. I'm going to load my brush. Okay. And then I'm just going to put enough in here. We don't want, oh, and I want to do, there's something that I was going to do before I started on the leaves. I'll do that in a moment here. So, I mean, it's not the prettiest, but you don't go all the way up to the red line, because you can see the red line that I copied around. So when you make these, you want just the outside, and so I just kind of put some paint in the middle. But I'm going to really quickly show you the main strokes you're going to use on just about everything. So we generally tell you to start out, we're going to do the S stroke or the Z stroke. You take the paintbrush. If you've done calligraphy, this will be easier for you. And you just come over, and then just to practice it, you come over and then go like this. And so you've got a tail here and a tail here, and it's wide in the middle. I'm just making them very square for right now. So we go over, down, and over. And that's how you start out with. And you do those a few times so you get used to the paintbrush. And then you're going to want to kind of just soften it and go and do your S stroke. All right. So you see we kind of started out square, do a few of the square ones till you find out how to hold the brush, and then you go into the S curve. And then also you want to do it the other way, because you're going to go both ways. And so those are the two main strokes that you're going to be using. There's also the C stroke. That's one of the ones that's in the scrolls. And you kind of grip your paintbrush like this. Again, and then you just, actually, you just do a C stroke backwards and forwards, because you're going to be using those. And then the other C stroke kind of one that you're going to do is for the scrolls, where you kind of start like this, and you're going to just turn this in your hand around, and then you're going to come down on the scroll. So you can kind of see what, how you change that C stroke to make a scroll. So those are the main strokes you're going to be using. So I'm going to continue on here with my leaf that I did the center with. Now you're going to want to load your brush, but you don't want it too much on there. If you need to, Did I lose my paper towel? All right. Not lose, used. That didn't rip very well. So I'm going to put that back under here. Okay, so now we've got the middle green in our leaf. Now this one is going to be kind of an S. You can do it. What we're going to do is we're going to tip or edge the paintbrush. Now, you know, if you want to have, you know, set up your own way to remember which side you've dipped in, you know, like if you put the printing of the paintbrush on the top, and now I'm going to go over, and I've got this little pile of the dark green, so I'm just going to edge my paintbrush. Now it's still got the middle green in it, so I'm just going to edge it so you can see there's just a little edge of the dark green. And so I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to try and get this over here. And you just lay it in right next to the, I didn't get enough on there. All right, you want to lay it in, and then as you're coming up to the top, you're coming to a point. And, you know, if you want to get a little bit more, okay, so you can see how that's shaded from the dark onto this. Now we're going to do the yellow part of it now, but what you want to do, you're going to still want to have the brush loaded with the middle green, but you want to get that dark green off of it because we're going to put the light ones on the other side. All right, so some people double dip. You can do that because we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to take the yellow. Oh, that got a lot on there. All right, I got to get that off. All right, I'm going to, again, if you have to do that, then you go again and you load in the middle color, okay? And I might not have had a peak on here as I should have, but I'm going to go with the middle yellow. And now I'm going to go to the other side and just lay that in. Up to the top, to that point, okay? And then we're going to load it with the light yellow. And you're going to come up to that point. Now, the one thing that's nice about rosemaling is there's always a cover-up stroke. So you can see that here there's a little bit of a ridge here. I can soften that a little bit. I took out more than I wanted, but you can, oops, you can see we've got the center, we've got the dark green here, we've got the middle yellow, and then the light yellow. But there's always a finishing stroke. You come from the bottom. Let me find a good picture here. This is one that I designed for the class. So as you look at this, the leaves are typically, not always, typically on the bottom. But everything is done in the layer. So, for example, this center flower, you're going to do the 4 petals first. Then you're going to do these little loopies around the side. And then your last one is the center. And this is going to finish up all your strokes so they're nice and neat. And that's one of the things. So if your leaf gets a little ragged looking, not a big deal. Now, I'm going to just quickly show you this one with the round ones, and then we'll call it a day for tonight. All right, I'm going to get that all cleaned off. All right, then I'm going to load it again with the middle green. Now this one has got the 3 bumps, or they're the 3 bumps. So the one thing when you're filling in, I don't know if you noticed when I did the first one, you don't go all the way to the line. And if there's a little line left over, that's not a big deal, because this once your project dries, you can go back with some of the paint thinner and clean up the lines that you used, that you did with the tracing paper. Boy, I'm not doing very good on this one. All right, so then again, we're going to do the dark green. Now this one doesn't come to a point, so it just kind of comes to the top. So I'm going to lay this in on the side, and I'm going to come up to the top, and I'm just going to come around the top a little bit. Okay, that one's not turning out very well. It's been a while since I've painted, but like I said, there's always a cleanup stroke. So I'm going to load this with the middle again. All right, and so then I'm going to load it with the middle yellow. That's a lot. There we go. And I'm going to go up the side. This one is one where you can do it from top to bottom or bottom to top, or you turn it upside down. So I'm going to now do the little, oops, I missed. The little bumps on the side. I'm trying to get that. I didn't do a very good job on this one. Okay, then we're gonna, and like I said, some people double dip where they do the middle one and then they do the light one. I'll just briefly show that momentarily here. All right, so now I'm going to come out with the light. Okay, that cleaned it up pretty good. Just gonna come down the center here. So you can see the 3 bumps. You've got the dark green, the middle green, the middle yellow, and the light yellow. Now, what I was going to show you with the double dipping, and you can do this if you want. All right, so we're going to go through with the middle yellow, and then I'm going to come over here and get the light yellow, so that when you're painting, I'm just going to go up this one that I had. I did the wrong side, but that's okay. I was just showing you. So you can see we've got the middle yellow and the light yellow on the brush at the same time. So that's how you double dip. Now, very quickly, we only used one brush tonight. I'm going to call it a night for this one. I'm going to, do I have it? Whoops. That was, the one thing that I don't have is like if you get one of those round tops from a wide mouth bottle of pop. I'm going to use this one tonight. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to clean the brush. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get as much as I can off with the paint thinner. Okay, now this is where it gets important when you're taking care of your brushes. You want to go into the oil, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to do these little squiggles, and you can see that there's still paint coming out of the brush. So you keep doing that, you go back and you pick up some more. You just kind of do it in circles because you want to get all that paint out of there, so you don't, you know, pick up and you're going to be doing a pink thing and all of a sudden you've got green coming through your pink flower. So you just keep doing this. Oh, hey, we're getting close. Getting close. Oops, didn't want to go back in that one. I want to go over here. You want to get all the way up to the ferrule right there. Make sure there's nothing coming out of there. I'm about ready to fall off my chair. All right. So you can see, oh, there's even still, when I get it up to the light, there's still a little more. I don't think it would make a difference in there's not that much left in the paintbrush, but you can see that each time you dip it in and you do it in the little circles, you get more and more paint out of there. You want to get it to where the oil is clean, that you can't see any paint in the oil. Okay, and you just come over here and you do want to put it in. I dip it in the oil, you know, just get it so it's nice and oiled, and you put it in your thing, and that's how you clean your brushes. And this is making a mess. I really made a mess on this. I'm gonna have to redo this. So we did the paints and the leaves. Now you can go back and practice this. We'll do some more strokes. One of the things that we didn't get to tonight is the line work on the leaves. We'll do that next time. And then we're going to start. Now this is the pattern that I made for this class. And so what we're going to do is the next class we'll take the center flower. So for next class, if you want to get this ready ahead of time, take your tracing paper and just on this flower, all you have to do is these little heart-shaped thingies out here and the center, because well, you can do these. We'll see how we want to do that. That's where you're going to be probably using the size 2. I mean, you can put those in if you want. I don't think it's really a good idea. I think just do the outside and the center. And then these are the cleanup strokes. So for next time, trace out this flower and put it on some of your practice papers. And then before you get to the next video, do some practicing on those S strokes and C strokes. And then if you want to practice doing the leaves, and we'll do the line work next time. I'm getting paint everywhere. All right, now if you have any questions, you can leave them on the comments on the video. But in the meantime, I've got to recopy these because I made a mess here. I'm going to have to recopy some of the pages. Oh, the one thing I was going to show you, you do want something to keep your paints in, especially when you're working on a project, because you're going to want to keep the paint that you've already made, so you don't have to make paint again. This is one thing that I found. I don't know how good it's going to work. It's a deviled egg tray, but you can put each different color in one little divot in the tray, and then if you need to mix things, you've got kind of a little palette in here that you can use to mix paints, but otherwise just you can do that. The ones that I find work the best are the ones, if you go to Walmart, they've got the ones that are more plasticky, kind of like the Tupperware ones, that seal really well, because you don't want your paint to dry out. So next week we'll do the line work, and then we'll start working on your flower. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. It's going to take me a little while because I have to make some copies here, but I will upload. Now, if you want to go to the lesson 1 video, there's already some pages there. I'll add some more to this one. It's going to take me a little while, but I'll get those done probably tomorrow. I'll get the pages in the comments. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. There is a possibility, I mean, if you want to try a Zoom session, I don't know, I haven't, this is my first time doing this online. Normally I teach in a live class, so this is my first video series. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thank you.